Meme, I just always think of her making me go to church. uh, but probably the garage sales we used to go to all the time. She'd drag me around and make me watch things on that she already bought, and sit there and wait for her. Everybody had to have clothes, warm clothes, swimming suits, this, that, and the other, and year in and year out, we'd just have to, recycle and go through stuff. So even though I got a lot of hand-me-downs from my sisters and brothers, I got more from other people. But that was the whole thing. That's what she did. She always was looking out for us, always had the big picture in mind, I suppose.
One of my favorite things about our Meme was the way that she would try and get around and bring Pepe to see every grandkid around. And so my Meme was a realtor, and she made sure that her kids could get a house relatively close to each other. And so most of her kids lived in the area, and so there were a lot of cousins of mine. I'd like to say there were over 30. I even lost count. And she would make sure that they drove around after getting their coffee and their breakfast, and in between lunch they would visit every place. And I just love that, because it showed that her priority was her family, and always enjoyed the hug I got when they came over.
Meme, I always remember her doing puzzles. Anytime I would come over Leslie's house, to see Sean or hang out or whatever it was for, and Meme and Pepe came over, there was always a puzzle out on the table that she had been working on, and we'd sit around and do that. And I felt like she was always singing as well. I remember her always singing or humming, and it was always really sweet.
To like a dinner bar type of place, but they had karaoke. And she said, she's so brave. She said, okay, I'm gonna put my name in. So they had a couple of singers, and everyone was kind of listening, half listening, eating their meal. And then all of a sudden they called Louise Field. So she gets up there and she starts to sing French, a French song in French. And everyone put down their drinks, stopped eating, and went, wow. And it's like the place was got so quiet. And everyone was so mesmerized that someone up there is singing in French. And she loved it. And she sounded so, wonderful after one of her Southern Manhattans, And she sounded just like Patsy Cline when she sang. She taught herself how to play piano. I mean, I thought that was phenomenal, that you could teach yourself. They would go to, and they loved karaoke. Matter of fact, they bought a machine, and they would do it at all, like, parties and stuff.
Somebody's got a bunch of tapes.
Yeah. That was a good memory, them singing. And she got us up there singing.
Favorite memory about Pepe is when he brought home the school bus, and I thought, why has he got a school bus? And then I helped him tear out the seats, and Dee got it, and we did a lot of other work on it. And then he said it was going to be a camper, and it was really cool. And I remember him welding at night, and I went to the circus and came back, and he had almost all the stuff out, and I thought, wow. And yeah, building the bus and going camping after that, that's my biggest memory of Pepe.
My favorite memories about our Pepe is when he would come over, he would give us all a hug. And for some reason, just getting a hug from Pepe just meant a lot. Pepe was, I feel like he was a serious guy. I mean, he was very wise. He's put in a lot of hard work in his life. There was so much more to know about Pepe, but he would always embrace us grandkids so well, and come in and get a hug, and my mom would have a cup of coffee ready for him just to sit down on the couch and enjoy our time together.
I'll never forget that Pepe would always give me a big kiss on the cheek when I came over, whenever I saw him, before I left or just when I arrived. He was just always so sweet and happy to see me. And anytime he was over his daughter Leslie's house and I was there, he almost always wanted a cup of coffee. And so I remember just always joining him and having a cup of coffee as well at the same time. And the phrase that always cracked me up that he liked to use was a hot ticket. He would call someone that was, talented or just something exciting or whatever it was. He would call it a hot ticket. That person's a hot ticket, or whatever the situation was. It was just a funny phrase to me that made me laugh whenever he used it.
Remember that, Leslie? When he would give you a quarter
For a back scratch.
for a back scratch. And we used to love scratching his back. And we'd earn money. We'd save our quarters. So we'd do that. But I always remember Pepe, Dad building a lot of stuff. He could build anything. Well, look how he built my house that I grew up in. That was pretty cool.
When Meme thought she wanted to be a professional tennis player, he built her a tennis court.
Came out here when I moved from California. I had all these books, and I remember looking over in the room that they gave me to stay in, and I said, you know what I need? I need a bookshelf. I said, maybe I'll go looking Goodwill and stuff like that. But before I even got a chance, it was already built. He put it in the room. Here, put your books in that. I said, oh, cool. I still have that bookcase.
Really?
Yeah, I saved it. I have it in my workout room.
Wow.
I put all my weights and stuff on it. Yeah, because it was made by him.
The Vietnam stories are very intricate and well, he always had a way of telling the story that he didn't leave out many details. He really made it seem like a movie. I'd think about it and picture it happening. And I thought those were always pretty cool.
One of my favorite memories about our Grandpa Gary is how we traveled. So my Grandpa Gary taught me and my brothers and sisters how to drive. And that in itself, it has a lot of stories to it. But the way that we traveled when we went on trips every Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend, we would go around Florida, but it's what he called bumming around. So we wouldn't just jump on the interstate and try to get somewhere as quick as we could, but we would take the smaller roads, some of the state roads, and we would see some of the more local spots and actually enjoy the drive. And I feel like that it says a lot these days, in like just more convenience and trying to get places and rushing. He had a way of slowing things down and enjoying the present moment, which teaches me a lot today, is that life in general needs to we need to bum around and enjoy the little things and not try and just rush to the big things in life.
I probably have the most memories of Grandpa Gary. I think my favorite one is we were on a trip, me, Sean, and Gary, and we were canoeing, and I forgot the name of the creek, but we were canoeing, and he wanted to turn the canoe around because he could have sworn he saw mulberries. And he said he used to love to eat mulberries. Let's turn the canoe around and pick them and eat them. And we're like, I don't think you saw any berries, but he insisted. So we turned the canoe around, or tried to, and we ended up flipping the canoe, and we all fell in the river. And it was hilarious, also a little scary. But yeah, I'll just never forget how adventurous he was, and how funny he was, and how he always had something to talk about, to teach us, endless stories to tell. I just have so many great memories with Grandpa Gary.
Grandpa Gary, for me, was the stories. He always had a story.
You didn't know whether it was true or not.
No, but it would go on and on and on. And he just had to mention something, and he would pick up some word or something, some subject in what you were talking about, and he'd go, you know, and he would take it and he would tell you a whole other story, and you'd go, wow. But he was always, so to me, he was always joyful.